What up? Rocher here from Purpose Driven Life, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about secondhand experience and how it feels groupthink and how this can affect you in good ways and bad ways. I want to talk a little bit about what secondhand experience is, followed by what groupthink is, give you some examples of groupthink, and then talk a little bit about how it is to live outside of groupthink. We as human beings are social creatures, and because of that we have the capability to learn things through our own experience, but because we can communicate with others, we can also learn things through other people's experience, and this is something we call secondhand experience. And this is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, because it's a good thing because we can learn a lot in a relatively short time, but it is also a bad thing because we are inclined to not research the things we get through secondhand experience a lot, and because of that, a lot of things that aren't really true are being sent into the world, and because a big group believes it, it's basically considered true. And that's when we come into the area of group think. So what is groupthink? Groupthink is a social phenomenon that occurs within a group when their desire for harmony or non-conflict is so big that it leads to irrational decision making and accepting irrational beliefs. I want to give you some examples of groupthink and how it can be affecting you in bad ways. The first example I want to give to you is the concept of what we perceive as attractiveness and what we perceive as beauty. Through media, and we get all these pictures of what we see, of what we consider as being attractive. For example, they use models, and all these models have the same specific body type. For women, it's tall and thin and everything. For men, it's like a little bit muscular. They got this specific jawline or the wavy hair or something. And basically, there is a norm created for what is considered attractive. So what happens if you're not in line with that norm? What if you're under that norm? If you're really secure with yourself, you'll say, fuck that. I am who I am happy with myself, I am awesome. But what if you aren't that secure with yourself? Then possibly you're gonna feel out of place. You'll feel not happy. You'll feel not content with your life. You'll basically feel like you're cheated outside of life. Then in that cases, groupthink is affecting you in a bad way. Another example I can think of groupthink is clothing. People tend to pay 3 to 4 times as much for clothing just because it has a little brand on it that says Versace, Gucci, Prada, or Calvin Klein or something else. And just because it has that brand, they consider it as something of good quality. But are there types of clothing that don't have a brand that have that same kind of quality? Yes, they are. So why are we still paying that much for that type of clothing? Basically, it's because of secondhand experience, and we don't want to exert the energy to really research this thing. We don't want to have to do the effort. And basically, this is really logical, because why would you do it if somebody else really said it is okay, if it's already tested to be okay? I wouldn't do it either normally. But this is an example where groupthink can hurt you if you aren't financially stable and you still think you have the obligation to buy those clothes. The third example I want to give you is the example of the social construct that we have created about how we should live our lives. Basically, the social construct says that you're born. After that, you go to school. After that, you ideally go to college and you'll graduate. After that, you're gonna get a girlfriend, get a 9-to-5 job, you'll grow old, you'll retire, and you die. What if, for a lot of people, this is enough? But what if you aren't stimulated by this way of living? What if instead of a 9-to-5 job, you want to skateboard your whole life, or you want to travel the world and see a lot of things? Then you're basically going against groupthink. What if you're not stimulated by the way your life is now? And what if to achieve, and what if your color of your skin or your upbringing or how tall you are is holding you back because of groupthink? Then you're gonna have to go against groupthink. And because a big element of groupthink is living in harmony and avoiding conflict, a lot of people that are in groupthink, they're gonna try and conform you to come back to the groupthink status. So you're gonna have to deal with that, and that's gonna be a lot of stress, because a lot of people will criticize you, they will laugh at you, they'll even insult you and try to demotivate you. So I wanted to give you a few tips about living outside groupthink, and I think it can help you. The first tip I want to give you is to get your values clear. Know what you value in life. Know what is important to you. Because when you know what's important to you, stuff like demotivating and instant gratification will not divert you off your path. The second tip I want to give you is to learn how to identify groupthink. Yes, learn how to identify groupthink, because groupthink can influence you in a direct way, but it can also influence you in an indirect way. It might be the way someone says something instead of what they are saying that can influence you, or there are all kinds of different examples for that. So watch out for that. Learn how to identify it so you can begin to, I would say, make a shield against those influences. The third tip I want to give you is to look at your own goals right now and try to filter out the goals that are a product of groupthink. These are mostly the goals of what people expect you to be doing and not the things you really want to do. They're not really the goals that are in your pursuit to happiness. So try to identify them and try to cut them out of your life, because they're basically not helping you. If you're exerting energy in goals that aren't bringing you happiness, it's basically madness. Why would you do that? You got your own life. You are in charge of your own life. So it's your responsibility to cut this stuff out and focus on the stuff you should be focusing. So that's all I want to say for today. This is Rocher from Purpose Driven Life. Peace.